Hi, everybody. I am back again, and this time I am going to be talking to you about a very interesting topic, which is going from blah to ha ha, right? So, we all have these moments when, we're going down and down and down into a spiral, and we just don't know how to get out of it. All right. So this is a topic that I'm going to be talking about. How do you get out of a situation where you're feeling unhappy to where you're feeling happy? All right. So it is last time we spoke about what happiness was and what are those people or what are the happiness, breakers, people who steal our happiness or things that steal our happiness away from us. Today we're going to be talking about if we are unhappy, how do we move from that state into a happy state? Okay, so I'm just going to be waiting for a while to let people join in, and then I'm going to start my conversation. But before that, I just want to know how has your week been so far, and have you been using the stuff that we've been discussing all this along? Has it been working for you? Do let me know. I'd be very happy to receive any kind of inputs from you and feedback from you. Right. So, so here we go. So what is blah basically? And what happens, when you are in that blah moment, right? So for me, what happens when I'm in a blah state is I suddenly feel, oh, the life is so terrible. I don't want to live anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. And there are a whole lot of things that creep into my mind, and life is just falling on me like a ton of bricks. Okay, my I just don't feel like getting out of bed. I want to just keep, like almost like an ostrich. I just want to go dive into my pillow and put my pillow on top. I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. So so I'm assuming that this is pretty much something that would happen to a lot of you. There are times when I feel very blah, and I can also get extremely angry, you know. So I can sort of have this whole, when I start getting very upset and getting very angry with myself. How can you do this to yourself? I mean, you have done so much of work on yourself, and what's really going on? I mean, what is wrong with you, isn't it? Or it could just be an anger on someone else, right? So there can be multiple ways in which the blah actually shows up. Okay. Now the thing is that, uh, when I used to be in this blast state, and or even now, there are days when I still am in a blast state. Okay, what do I do? Before, I used to judge myself, where I'd say, "Oh, how can you be so stupid that you don't know how to get out of this situation, or that you are in this situation?" But now, what I do is I give myself, I get out of, "How are you? It's good to see you. I'm good. How are you doing?" Okay, so so now what happens is that every time I am in a blast state, I actually give myself permission to be in that blast state. Okay. Funny, isn't it? Yeah. So instead of telling myself that don't get into a blast state, I actually say, hey, it's okay, it's okay to be in a blast state. It's absolutely fine. Okay. Now, what happens is that the moment I'm in a blast state and I give myself permission to be in the blast state, guess what? I don't have to fight anything or anyone. Okay. So now what also happens is that when um, when I'm in a blast state, and if I'm fighting myself in that blast state, I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the blast state, right? And I just so I'm going deeper into the blast state, then I'm judging myself for being in the blast state, which is pushing me deeper into the blast state, and I'm judging myself for going deeper into the blast state, which is pushing me even deeper into the blast state, right? So what happens is that it is from one blah moment to a lower blah moment to another blah moment till I'm absolutely down in the dumps, right? Now, if I stop fighting at that first instance when I'm feeling blah, and I'd say, hey, you know what, it's cool to feel blah. There is just no problem in feeling blah. Just enjoy your blah ride as well. Okay. What it does is it stops all the other spiraling activities that push me deeper into another blah right in their tracks. So I'm only dealing with one level of blah, not multiple levels of blah. Make sense? Right? So when I'm not going deeper into blah, and I'm only sticking at that one level of blah, then I have a choice to do whatever I can do. Okay. So step one, stop yourself from judging yourself, right? For feeling blah. Give yourself permission to feel blah. It's okay to feel blah. There's nothing wrong in feeling angry. There's nothing wrong in feeling sad, because this is also one of those states. Now, one thing I've realized is that every time I feel angry, it is when I feel that I'm outside of my power. Every time I feel sad, it is because something has happened which is not according to what I had expected, again, which is out of my power, isn't it? So these are things that are completely outside my control, and it is my reaction to all of this that actually creates a situation where I'm feeling happy or I'm feeling sad. All right. Now, uh, so the thing is that, what am I then judging myself for? Am I judging myself for things that are outside of me? Or am I judging myself for my reactions? So, whose reactions are they? They are my reactions. Who's responding? I'm responding, isn't it? So, why would I judge it? Okay. The moment I judge it, I'm actually creating a situation where I just have to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the well. Okay. Because every judgment adds another judgment and then another judgment, and it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. So if we were to just step for a moment and say, hey, you know what, it's okay to feel blah, and I'm not going to judge myself for it. I'm just going to enjoy this blah moment, and I'm not going to get into, oh my God, into a drama queen situation. But I'm just going to enjoy my blah moments. Okay, fine. I'm feeling blah. I'm feeling blah. Then let's see what happens. Okay. So give yourself permission to feel blah. Now, here is an interesting piece. Hi, here is a very, very interesting piece, okay, which is called the adrenaline rush. Okay, how many of us love to live life as though we've conquered something? Okay, so we are constantly in what I call the conquer mode, right? Now, to conquer something, you have to fight and then conquer something, right? It is not something that just happens. It's not an easy space, okay? It is constantly fight, conquer, fight, conquer, fight, conquer. Okay, it is not typically what one would call a winner space. A winner space is where the mindset is that I am going to win, I am a winner. But the moment I have to conquer something, okay, I have to go first into a fight mode, and then I have to conquer it. Okay. Now, what that happens is it actually throws a rush of adrenaline, which actually affects our entire system. Okay. So, how many of us are addicted to that adrenaline rush? Okay. It's surprising, but most of us actually are, because that is the only thing that we, it's our training through the years, where to feel happy, to feel a certain kick, you have to have that rush. Okay. So what we tend to do is we tend to create certain situations and certain responses in our life that bring us into the fighting mode, so that we can conquer that and then come out of it. Okay, does it make sense? And I'm assuming it makes sense. Okay, so when you get out of that blah moment, okay, how do you feel just after that? Wow, I've got out of that blah moment, isn't it? So we actually feel that we've 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 come out of this, and now there is a monumental task for us to create a life that is productive. Okay. So there are hurdles to overcome, and then we have to do this, and then we have to do this, and then we have to do this, and once we've achieved, it's like doom, we just go. Okay, there comes a lull, and that's where we start feeling blah again. Or if there is a failure, which is if something does not match our expectation and what we were expecting, then we will term it as a failure because it does not match what we were expecting. Correct? So the moment we judge that it's a failure, it because just because it's not matched what we were expecting, we just go into this blah moment because we feel, hey, we had asked for this, we took these steps, and this should have happened exactly the way it is. So now I'm going to share a story with you, which is actually one of my very, very favorite stories about expectations. So here is a guy who would he would get up in the morning, he would pray, he would say his afternoon prayers, he would go to bed thanking God, gratitude, and all of that, right? So one day, in his small town came there was a massive rain. Okay. And the river got flooded. When the river got flooded, everyone told him, hey, listen, come on, get out, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's time to evacuate because this river is not going to stop. So we've been told to leave and we're going to a safer place. But our guy said, no, no, I pray to God, the God is going to take care of me. Okay. So what happened was that he kept waiting, and everybody told him, no, 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 just pack your stuff and let's get out of here. Whatever you have, just pick it up. There is still a truck that is available. You can dump your stuff there and we can go. So he says, no, no, I'm not going to share my truck with someone else. You go on, the God is going to take care of me, and the God is going to send me a proper mode, right? So what happened was that the water kept rising. So from his house, which was on the on the ground floor, he goes to the terrace, right? And he takes with him few things, and suddenly the water started building up, building up, building up, and somebody said, you know what, there is a boat, just jump in. Okay. So he says, no, 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 I'm not, I'm going to wait, my God is going to take care of me, my God is going to take care of me. Then what happens is that finally the water actually keeps rising a lot, and it's funny. The helicopter comes and a person just drops a rope and says, you know what, just catch this rope and come up. If you are safe, you can always create a life. He says, no, no, I don't care. The God is going to take care of me. My God is going to take care of me. And at the end, what happens is he finally gets washed away with the water while everybody else from his village leaves, right? So he goes up to the heaven and he says, hey, dude, like, you were supposed to take care of me, right? I prayed to you like thrice a day. I did everything that you told me to do. Okay, I followed you to the T. And at the end, what happened? You never took care of me. You just let me die. So the God turns around and tells him that, you know what? Who is the one who sent that truck? the one who sent that boat? Who is the one who sent you the helicopter with the rope? You chose not to take it because you had a certain perception and an expectation, right? I did my best in the circumstances, whatever I could. Okay, so the moral of the story is that we have certain expectations which actually stop us from appreciating things that come our way. Okay, so in this case, when I'm feeling blah, okay, and there is something that makes me angry or makes me sad or makes me upset, okay, it is because my expectations or my perceptions have not been matched. Okay. Now, if I can just say, and see, the thing is that there is a perception like I say, okay, here is a phone, right? And the phone has a certain form and structure. Okay. Uh, but what if there was no form and structure? What if we could go with the energy of the thing? Okay, what if the molecules or whatever we are asking are actually nebulous and not set and structured, right? So, so can we then look at the energy of what we are asking and then allow it to show up in a manner which could be different than the form and structure that we've created around it? Okay, so here is the deal. If I am looking at a blah situation, okay, and I can then ask myself a question, what's going on here? Which one of my expectations is not being met? And is it truly not being met, or am I just assuming it's not being met? And if so, how is it being met? Okay, I understand that in the blah moment you cannot be doing this, but this is as you go along before you jump into the blah moment. If you can use this tool, okay, it might just stop you from getting into a blah moment. Okay, now, so what happens is that after this up and down, up and down, up and down, and constantly judging ourselves, if we just give ourselves permission, okay, uh, see what happens. And my next question to everyone is, how many of you or how many of us are really meek obeyers? What I mean by this is, if I tell you, you can't do this, how many of you will say, okay, cool, we can't do this? And how many of you will say, no, no, why did she say we can't do this? I have to try and do this. And my guess is that most of us on the call today are of that nature, right? That we, if someone tells us no, we just have to do it, right? So if I'm going to tell myself that you can't feel blah, guess what? I have to feel more blah. Okay, so here's the deal. What if I could give myself permission to just feel blah? Step one. Okay, now, uh, who is choosing to feel blah? Am I choosing to feel blah? I am choosing to feel blah, right? It is my choice that I am feeling blah. I understand there is a stimulus outside, right? The world is falling apart, there are no jobs, COVID is happening, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And my partner is not good. I don't have a steady source of income. There's so many things outside of me which are making me feel blah. Notice, there are things outside of me which are making me feel blah, or there are things outside of me that I am allowing, okay, to get me to feel blah. All right. So these are all external stimulus. And who has the choice to respond to it? I have the choice to respond to it. And if I have the choice to respond to it, I also have the choice to respond to it in the manner that I am choosing to respond in, right? So, how am I choosing to respond to it? Okay. So, what are my choices available here? All right, here's the deal. Imagine you're walking down a path, okay, and suddenly you fall into a pit. you're lost in your own thoughts and you're just walking along and you fall in the pit, right? If you fall in the pit, now what are the choices you have? You have a choice, which is, you know, you can either feel, you can either feel very happy about yourself and say, oh, I've fallen, maybe it's something for me to get out. Or you can just sit and say, oh my god, I have fallen in the pit, what do I do? And so on and so forth, right? So then there is this other choice when you say that, hey, I've fallen in this pit, okay, how do I get out of it? Right? So there are three choices. One is you are happy that you've fallen in the pit, there is something for you to conquer. And I'm not saying you go, woohoo, I have to conquer, but it's just that, let's go, let's conquer now, right? Or there is this thing where you actually just give up and give in and say, I don't know how to get out. Or you just get very pragmatic and you say, cool, let's look around and see what's going on. So when you're pragmatic and you're cool and calm about it, you're actually A, avoiding an adrenaline rush. And secondly, your brain is actually looking for possibilities and not getting into a trauma and drama. All right. So what you do is, uh, you look for a way and you say, oh cool, here is something that I can hold on to and I can climb up, and you climb up and you get out of the pit. So and you start walking ahead, right? Now, what is the choice that you have here? You have a choice to keep walking lost in your thoughts, or you say, oh, I'm going to take a lesson from this pit, and I'm now going to make sure that I don't, I don't walk with in unawareness, and I'm more aware of the path that I take. Okay, so are you then going to become more aware? Or are you still going to go on lost in your own thoughts? And if you're smart, the choices are that you will become more aware, isn't it? So it is completely up to us the way we respond to a situation, number one. Number two, what we take out of that situation. So I can either take it as an opportunity to grow, or I can look at it as an opportunity as, my God, that big accident happened to me. So notice what is the conversation that you're having internally with yourself. That is very important. Okay. And so if you take awareness out of this and you say, okay, I'm now going to be very aware, give yourself a pat on your shoulder because you are choosing to be more aware and of your surroundings and of what's going on. Once you're that aware, nothing can then come and penetrate and attack you. It can only happen if you're unaware. So, a negative thought or a disempowering thought comes and attacks you and takes over. But if you're completely aware and you say, oh, cool, this is a thought that's coming here, fine, let it just go by. So, you are not responding to it, you're not reacting to it, you're just letting it go by. Okay? If you're in that state, you just go along creating your life the way you were from one level to the next level and a higher state again. Cool? So, here is a small exercise for you to practice, and it's a lot of fun exercise to practice. So, I would suggest you give yourself some time every day to do it. So what you've got to do is you've got to take 15, mark a space. Okay, it can be in your room or it can be in your garden or it can be anywhere. So mark a space of 15 steps. All right. Once you've marked a space of 15 steps, what you've got to now do is that every step that you take, okay, you've got to say it out loud. So for instance, I've marked 15 steps and then I'm going to tell myself, okay, now I'm going to lift my left foot up. I've declared that, right? That I'm going to lift my left foot up. So I will now lift my left foot up. And then you say, now I'm going to lift the heel of my right foot. Okay. And then you lift the heel of your right foot. And now I'm going to put my left foot down while I lift my right foot up. So then you put your right foot down and lift your right foot up. Okay, got it? So every single step that you're doing, every single action that you're doing, you have to say it out loud. Okay, just do it, and it's a lot of fun. Now the next step is for you to watch for all those other insidious activities that happen, okay, which you don't even realize. For example, suddenly you'll realize your eyes are blinking, but you haven't asked for your eyes to blink, right? And you'll find your balance is going a little haywire, but you haven't given your body the permission to go a little disbalanced. Okay, you'll find your fingers flexing. Did you ask your fingers to flex? All right, so do this as an exercise, and what it does is it puts you in awareness and in the moment, like that. So what you do is, when I started practicing with this particular tool, what I would do was I would actually go into my shower, okay, and do this when you're in your shower or when you're brushing your teeth. So say, okay, I'm going to reach out for my toothbrush with my right hand, and then you reach out, and then so on and so forth. Just whatever you want to do, just say it out loud and do it. And if you're brushing your teeth, okay, give yourself extra 5 minutes, all right? Because it's going to take you that much time. And if you're doing it in shower, give yourself at least 20 minutes extra to have a shower, because every step that you take, you're going to have to say it out loud. All right. So what happens here is that you actually start becoming aware of every single moment of your life. Okay. So this is an exercise that helps you to become more aware. All right. Um, Next step that we're going to be doing is, so step one we did was give yourself permission. Step two was, you actually look at, now that I'm here, what are my choices available to me? Okay. The third thing you do is, what's the value? So we only do things, okay, which are of value to us, right? So you are sitting here listening to me because probably it's adding something to your life, okay? Or so I'm assuming, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here and spending, 30, 40 minutes with me, correct? So it is because it is adding value to your life. You're choosing to give your energy to this conversation today, right? Likewise, whatever we are doing, okay, in our life, we do only because it adds a certain value to our life. It may not always be what we think it should be, okay, which is an expectation or a perception, but there is a subconscious thought that's going on which gets us into that mode. Okay, that's our programming, right? And we've been talking about programming in the previous sessions and so on. So you can listen to one of those and you'll know what kind of programs we're talking about. So it can just be a programming, right? And we are on an autoresponder mode. All right. So our responses, but we're still putting our energy there, isn't it? So if we are choosing to put our energy into a particular direction, it is because we believe that there is a value, okay, attached to it, right? So if you are choosing to feel blah, all right, ask yourself, what is the value? Okay. There's got to be a value. Otherwise, for what reason am I choosing to feel blah? All right. One of the things that I used to do was I would actually ask myself a question, that how much money, because everything has a monetary value. So, how much money would I want, okay, to get out of this blah? I'll repeat, how much money do I want, okay, to get out of this blah? And whatever came to my head, the first figure, okay, that is the value I attached. All right. Uh, so sometimes I would get a figure of, let's say, probably $100,000. So, oh, $100,000. So I want 100,000, which means that there is a substantial amount of value I've attached to it. Okay. Then the next step is, if I've said, hey, if I'm attaching a value of 100,000 to it, what is so special about this? So I go into questioning that whole situation, and I go into questioning what are the reasons that I'm choosing to be in that moment. Okay. And suppose I get a value of 0. Okay. Then the next question is, oh, if there is no value attached, why am I even letting it be in my space? Okay, it would be foolish for me to let it be in my space then. So, my choice then I have is to let it move out of my space and not be in my space. Okay, so that none of my energy, not even a shrapnel of my energy, is invested in that blah moment, because that's a choice that I'm making, right? So, from a situation where the blah is sitting on top of my head to a situation where I'm proactively looking at it and say, oh, cool, blah, time for you to go away. Okay, fine, you've been here, I'm okay, I'm grateful, you've taught me something about myself, but now could you please leave and just let the blah go away? All right. And if there is a value to it, then you say, okay, blah, I've given you a certain value, but I have given you that value, and I don't think it's adding any more value to my life. So far, you've been here to protect me or look after me. So now it's time that I choose to go to a different state and then move out of it. Right? Now, if you give this signal to your brain that you're not going to entertain any more blah moments because you are this person who likes to be happy, who likes to be content, who likes to be blah free, then the brain is going to start looking at evidence and bring that to support your current state. So you'll have more and more opportunities to be more creative, to have more fun, and to really enjoy life, right? Okay. And whatever that may be, because remember that brain is an extremely potent um, organ. And if we know how to command the power of the brain, that's it. Otherwise, the brain will do exactly what we are going to be asking it to do. Okay, so if we are signaling to brain that blah is what we want, it will bring more blah. But if we are signaling to the brain that we want, a really easy and peaceful and joyful life, then that is what's going to be brought into our life. Okay, so so I have a list of things, okay, that I do, okay, which I call my happy booster things. All right. So my happy booster activities, and I suggest that you maintain a little book in which you note down. So I actually use my phone, and I use the notes in my phone where I actually note down my happy booster activities. Okay, so it can be something as simple as just sitting outside and just listening to the birds chirping. Okay, or it could just be going and having a hot water shower, or it could just be, just listening to a peppy song, or it could just be meditating, or it could just be going and baking a fresh batch of bread, or making, cooking for the family, or just cooking for yourself, right? So or it could be a massage, because I have multiple things, or it could be painting, it could just be sitting down, and I must share this is a very interesting thing which I found, that there were times when I used to feel extremely blah, and I would suddenly wake up at night feeling like, oh God, the world is ending. What I would do was I would actually sit down with a pen of paper, with a paper and pen, and I would just write. And what came out of that was some incredible stories and poetry. Okay, so So every time I would feel blah, I would actually get very creative, is what I kind of realized. But of course, eventually I chose not to go down that road. And I said, fine, I can be creative without feeling blah. Right? So it can be multiple things for for different people. So you could just choose and say, okay, I'm feeling blah. I'm going to just sit and write about it. Okay. And just let start writing. Don't think that you can't write, you can write, or, you don't know how to write poetry. Just don't get into that mode. Just start noting down things, and don't look for any, there should just don't look for any logical structure, right? So a lot of my stories just came out without any, any, so they were just free flow stories, right? So a lot of things can come out of it. Or you could just paint. I mean, there are multiple things, right? And so have a list of these happy activities, the busters, or call them whatever you choose to call them, and make sure that every time you're getting into that space, you use one of these activities, and just just take it. So it's happy moment booster activities, or the blah busters, whatever you choose to call them, right? So so these can be very small activities. They needn't be really huge activities. I also had a lot of people telling me that, you know what, every time we feel sad, we feel like going shopping. Okay, I said, great idea. Of course, just go ahead and do it. But be aware that if you go on a big shopping spree, okay, what's going to happen after that? Are you going to feel guilty about spending all that money? Or are you going to be comfortable? Right? So, whichever activity you're taking, okay, be aware of what's going to happen after that. All right, is it going to continuously keep you in that happy mode, or is it going to put you in a mode where you start judging yourself and start, feeling guilty? So contemplate on your on your happy moments, okay, and put down all those activities that make you happy. I could be sitting and binging on a bar of chocolate, right? Because it makes me feel happy, right? Just in that instance. But after I've binged, what happens after that? Am I still going to be happy, or am I then going to be looking at myself and say, my God, you stupid nut, how could you have that bar of chocolate? And guess what? After momentary lapse of blah, I'm back into blah, right? And I don't want to do that. So pick and choose your activities when you put it down in that book, or put it down wherever you choose to put it down, which will constantly make you, keep you in that happy state, right? When you're in that happy state, your hormones, there are different kind of, and you all are aware of the chemicals that are released into body that really keep us happy. So your happy chemicals are released, right? Which also keep your brain in check, okay? And when you're in that space, guess what? Your brain is actually able to look at possibilities far more effectively than when it is in a blast state. Okay, so the choice is yours. What is it that you wish to do with your life, right? Uh, the final piece that I would really like to talk about is a vision board. Okay, for the longest period of time, I used to actually um, have this thing that I've done so many vision boards, but nothing comes out of it. Okay, they tell you to put a date, they tell you to visualize in a certain manner, and it just didn't, it didn't come to fruition. So it was an exercise which was wasteful for me. But over a period of time and over the years, through looking at different, different practices, I've come to realize that vision board is a great tool to have, okay, because it is a reminder for us about our dreams. So every time in a blah moment, I don't let go of my dreams. I hold on to it when I look at my vision board. Okay, so make your vision board very exciting, and make your vision board, about So put in your, in fact, in your vision board, you should put in your happy moments as well. Put in all those activities, put in everything that you have ever wanted to achieve, but just make sure that it matches your perception at that moment, right, a little bit. Once you've achieved it, you can knock it off and you can put in, so you can keep upgrading your vision board all the time. uh, so what I've done is I actually have created a vision board separately for my personal life, okay, which is my with regards to my family, etc., etc. There is a vision I have for that. Then I have another vision board for my career and what I really want out of my career. Then I have a separate vision board for my personal growth. The kind of programs I want to achieve, the kind of conversations I want to have. Stuff. So I just take a picture and I just put it up. So these days you have, it's pretty easy. You get these self-adhesive boards, so you can just make a collage and once it's achieved, just remove it and put something else. So vision board actually keeps your brain trained into looking at the possibilities and looking at what your dreams are, rather than letting you stay in that blah. So permission, give yourself permission to be in that blah moment. Don't fight it off. uh, you know Realize it's your responsibility. Ask yourself, hey, what are my choices available to me here? Ask yourself the question, what's the value of being in this blah situation? And finally, have that vision board ready for you to look at, and keep the vision board, you know sort of, I have it right in front of my bed. Okay, so when I wake up, the first thing I see is my vision board, right? Then my vision board for work I also have in front of my desk. Okay, so I look at my vision board and I also have it on my laptop as my background. Okay, so there are multiple vision places where I can put my vision board. I needn't put the whole vision board. I can put a piecemeal, and I can sort of just stick it up there in the relevant areas. So if you have different rooms, you can make a nice beautiful artwork and you can have that vision board there. So it acts like a reminder constantly for you about what is it that you truly desire and what is it that you truly would love to achieve from your life, right? And once you have that vision board and you have these steps, okay, I'm not saying that you won't get into a blah situation, but you'll know how to get out quickly from blah and move to ha ha. All right. So much from me today. If you have any questions, just put it down in the comment section and I'll be happy to respond. Okay. Otherwise, I'm just going to say bye bye. Good night. I look forward to meeting you next Monday with a new topic. And also let me know what are the particular topics, if there are any particular topics that you would like addressed. I would love to have them addressed as well. Just feel free to type in, to leave a message, and let's have fun. Yeah. So happy and happier and happiest moments to you onwards from this point forward. Enjoy your life, enjoy the rest of your week, keep creating and have fun. Bye bye. Thank you so much.